people who are out of work because of what happened with Red Tide in this community. And we can't have someone who is a self-serving politician any longer. 40 plus years of Charlie Crist is enough. I will tell you a little bit about myself, and I first want to say that it is so nice that we can come together in this room, have a civil discussion, hear from the different candidates, debate the issues, and agree to disagree. That is what is wonderful about this country. And I know that because I was born in a country that would never allow for something like tonight to happen. I was born in Iran. I immigrated here as an infant. I was less than a year old when the revolution happened in Iran. And my parents, they were 26 years old, and they escaped for their lives because they were the wrong religion. And we came to America with nothing. And my parents had to work very hard, doing odd jobs, to be able to provide a good life for their family. I always say my mom made my dad a surgeon. He studied to become a surgeon. He's a surgeon to this day. And he works at one of the most well-respected hospitals in America as the vice chairman of the ear, nose, and throat department. To do that, my mom had to deliver Yellow Pages until she was 8 months pregnant with my brother. And I helped her. I was 3 years old, and I helped her deliver Yellow Pages. And I remember the weight of those Yellow Pages as a pregnant woman was running up the hills to deliver them. But that was the weight that she carried to be able to allow her daughter to have the opportunities that I've had in the United States. I've been able to work at the highest levels of government as an attorney on Capitol Hill, as someone who worked in the Pentagon weeks after 9/11 because I speak Farsi, and as a partner in one of the largest law firms in the world, Bill Gates' father's law firm, before I was 40. I know what it takes to work hard. I will work hard for the people of this district. I will work hard for this community. And it is important to remember there is a role for government. I learned that when my mother was murdered when I was 27 years old. So when people say government is bad, government is evil, sometimes you do need government. And I know when I was in my darkest moment, I needed government's help to help me with my mother's case. And as someone who can empathize and understand people's most challenging times in their lives, because I've been through something I would never wish upon my worst enemy, you can know and trust that I will be there to help you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Up next, we have our own secretary, Sheila Griffin.
Thank you very much. We meet here every single month. Yep. We talk about politics every single month. But I want to tell you for certain that now is the time for a decision about a tenacious, fierce-fighting candidate that we send to the U.S. Congress. Your presence at this holiday tells me you're serious. I'm serious. Like the brilliance of the holiday core, I want to tell you that I've come to spark an end to the era of Charlie Crist. So who can beat this formidable Charlie? The one who hangs on and hangs around forever. Who can beat him? When we started out in February, they said absolutely no one. No one can beat Charlie, Sheila. You know, when you've got something in your house, and this is our wheelhouse, this is where we live, you don't just say, we can't get rid of it. You start a plan. As you drive home tonight, I want you to think to yourself, who in the world can beat Charlie? You know, cash can't beat Charlie. Charlie is well endowed with cash, so that won't do it. Media connections will not beat Charlie. That is not what's going to beat Charlie if you don't know this region, if this is not your home. Insensitivity, input that brings a national focus on our region. That won't beat Charlie either. Casualty, casualness, that won't beat Charlie. Connections and approval from Washington, that won't beat Charlie. But I'm here to tell you my name is Sheila Griffin. I am the face of the fight.
There you go.
I will beat Charlie. I'm not a Washington insider. I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a social star that plays on media all day or all night. And I have no Tallahassee connections, and I do not have someone that somehow or another is a power broker to make some decisions. But I am something that you are familiar with. I'm a citizen with compassionate connections with the struggles of our constituents. Doesn't sound real big, does it?
Yeah, it does.
But it's the person who's going to beat Charlie. Now is the time to bring the power back to the citizens. Few have greatness to bend the times we're in. When you recognize the genius of a population, you automatically begin to move in greatness because you know it's not you. The seat belongs to the people.
Yes.
But as the grandchild of VFW chaplain Sergeant Harry Owens, a World War II veteran, a pastor, and a warrior, I'm here because, like my grandpapa, we understood some things. The foundation of every nation is tested with someone who knows the laws of God and the laws of men, so that no one will have to live in tyranny for any reason. A colored regiment without voting rights, without civil rights. In the segregated South, he fought valiantly while he had to fight for the right to be in Luzon in the Philippine mountains. At that time, he was commanded by General MacArthur. But listen here. When mercenaries or hired guns show up, they don't have anything to do with your community. They're here to get a job done. But any casualties that happen, I promise you, there's no allegiance. Their parents and children are not here. They will not stay. And when the money runs out, so will they. Look for the candidates that were here last year and see if they're working in this party. Look among you for the last 4 years that I've been here. And look for everyone that comes to this dais but does not work here. I come as your patriot from among you. I am ready from day one to fight the fight that this community needs and it deserves. I'll not shy away, I'll not back up, and I do not turn around. But there is something I do. And everybody that has ever worked with me will tell you, I'll give all. We cannot continue to nominate the same old candidates. No answers to real problems. Focused on DC gossip. Now I am here before you as the daughter of a scholar and the granddaughter of a warrior. As your candidate for the United States Congress, I am your face of the fight. Yes, it's an uphill battle. Yes, I'm walking and meeting people and talking to people on the street every day. Yes, we get some things done. I'm for term limits. If you've got the little flyer that they handed out and it should be on your chair, it gives my platform for a reason.
Time's up, man.
Each one of us has an opportunity to change things. Love to talk to you after. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. Last up tonight, Matt Becker.
For the record, I want to redraw. I said I did not want to go behind Sheila. So with that being said, thank you to the executive committee for having us, all these candidates here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity. I wanted to start out by saying this is home. This has been my family's home for the past 13 years. This is where my business is. This is where I'm raising my family. This is where we go to church. This is home. My wife is with me tonight, Amanda back there in the corner. She also has significant She's also got significant political experience with me. She's a co-owner in our business. She worked at the Republican National Committee headquarters, and she was a special assistant to the President of the United States in the George W. Bush administration. I could not ask for a better partner in this journey, so I'm glad she's here to support me tonight. So with that being said, I'm a guy with a lot of different issues, we'll say, but I'm a guy with a lot of different perspectives. I've got a history in politics, I've got a history in public policy, and I've got a history in business. And I want to put all of those together to fight for all of you. So for now, what I like to say is that back in 2000, I worked for Steve Forbes, the man that was the conservative alternative to George W. Bush. He promoted the flat tax. If anybody wants to know where I come from politically, just think of Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes is the guy that I put on my pedestal where I go, that's who I want to be. That's the type of policies and the type of persona I want to have. Steve Forbes, unfortunately, did not win that election in 2000. What did happen is I was invited to run the executive, or I was invited to become the executive director of Victory 2000 for the state of Michigan. That allowed me to work with the RNC, the NRCC, and the NRSC and really look behind the curtain to see how DC works with these political campaigns. When that was over, I moved back to Washington, D.C. to get with my now engaged and now wife, Amanda. I started serving in the Bush administration from almost its first day. I worked on issues like small business, labor, and education. All of those issues are important to us today. All of those issues have impacts on us today. I want to do more in this community. My wife and I own an employment agency. To date, we've placed over 1,500 people out to work in the Tampa Bay region. That means there's 1,500 people here today that have been able to pay their rent, they've been able to get groceries, they've been able to pay for childcare because of what we do in this community. But more needs to be done. Shortly here, we're going to be talking about the election. And I mean, as soon as the presidential election turns the corner, people are going to be very focused on this election overall. Charlie Crist does not represent us. Charlie Crist, and I think it was Amanda had said, has served for 30 plus years. He does not have connections in this community. Yes, he lives here, but he has never had to worry about getting laid off at the end of the week. He's never had to deal with Common Core math with his child. Not that I would wish that upon anyone, but it's still fact. He has never had to worry about making payroll for his employees. He's never had to pay for Obamacare. He's never had a job. I heard that. I have. In me, you have a candidate that's got the politics, the policy, and the local history to really hit the ground running and fight for every one of you. I do this because I have two children. One is 13 and the other is 11. Nothing will keep you more grounded in DC than knowing that every vote you take, you have to look your kids in the eyes and say, did I make the country better today? I'm running for those kids. I'm running for your kids and your grandkids. This future under this Pelosi-led Congress will not do what we needed to do. We need to get back to small business. We need to get back to entrepreneurship. We need to get back to the American people taking risks. This country has been built off the back of entrepreneurs, and we need to support them with better 401k plans, better health care, and access to capital. To learn more about me, you can find me at mattbecker.org or Matt Becker for Congress on Facebook. We just updated the website with about 15 different policy positions. I look forward to talking to each one of you. Thank you very much. No disrespect to your guy.
All right, let's give one more round of applause to all of our candidates. Okay, next on our agenda, we have our service pens this evening. And before we get started, where's Jan Cox at? Jan, where are you? Can you stand up? I want to thank Jan. She spearheaded this event. So every year we award PCREC members with a service pen for the years of service. So what I want to do is I want to start with 5 years, and then we'll get to 10 years, etc. When I call your name, please come up and get your pen and stay up here because Charlotte really wants to get your photo. So. All right, our 5-year pen, Susan Avalos.
Yeah, Susan.